Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
I can't believe I beat Brandy.
I know I'm a little slow today. I'm a little under the weather.
Oh, no.
Brandy's under the weather. That's not good. It's not good. That means, Michael, we got to bring the energy today. We got to bring it.
It's here. It's here. The whole family's had the flu, but I've avoided it. It tends to happen somehow. Everyone gets something, but here I am. No bugs.
Well, get that early morning energy, baby. Let's do it. Sorry you're not feeling that great, Brandy.
You know.
Yeah. Way to jump into the topics way early, Michael. Yeah. All good. But no, seriously, how was your guys' weekend? Anything fun and exciting? What did we miss in the Canali and Golden households?
Before I got sick, I'm doing one of my Brandy wine experiment dinners again this summer at my place in the Adirondacks. So I tested an apricot and pistachio chantilly cake. I'm not like, cakes are not my strong suit, and it came out very good. So that was like my fun Saturday project.
So when are we going to experience something in Mexico? Maybe.
Yeah, it's really weird we didn't get this invite, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I was
expecting. It was invites to the extended family only. But
what are we, chop liver? We chop liver over here?
GMH family, we're not.
The GMH family doesn't count?
Listen, I promise you at some point we will do a GMH Brandy wine dinner. We'll have to poll the audience and see if we can get hooked up in a sweet big house with a big kitchen for me.
Yes. Big kitchen.
An industrial one, a hotel kitchen.
There we
go.
Or
a hotel kitchen. There we go. So, anyone, let me know.
Isn't Steve Turk to crossover shows? Isn't Steve Turk putting together some dinners, a dinner series?
I did see that. Yeah.
He is. Maybe we get a seat at the table with Steve Turkey Turk. But no, it should be exciting. What about you, Michael? What about you? What did you guys do this weekend? Anything fun? Good old Dadder Day?
Dadder Day, yep. And for those who are unfamiliar, Dadder Day, it's me and a group of dads with all their boys just going out to coffee shop, letting the kids wreak havoc on the local community as we sip coffee on Saturday mornings and talk about life.
Make them somebody else's problem.
It's great. There's a little park right next to the coffee shop we go to, and they just run wild. But it's hot, it's hot. So we're ready for fall here. Summer is my least favorite season, as anyone on the video can tell by my pale skin.
Well, the exact opposite for me. I love summer, so keep it coming. No, it was a good weekend for me over here. I went camping. It was a fail because the new spot I checked out was infested with mosquitoes, and I couldn't even enjoy a nice cup of coffee through bug spray, through campfire smoke, through tiki torches, through everything. I couldn't find peace. So I ended my trip a little early, but came back and had a lovely day at home prepping for the week. So that's my weekend. Very, very exciting as a single dude. Awesome. Well, we have some interesting topics, some stories that I don't think we would normally cover, but it is a fine Monday and we have a lot of stuff in the works to announce in the near future. So we wanted to bring some fun, exciting topics. And the first thing I want to do before we get into that, though, is for all of our live viewers, let us know where you are commenting or viewing from. We want to see people all over around the world. I know we have our regulars, Paul Manzi, Terry White, I almost said Tyler White, geez, and many, many others. So very exciting to have our live viewers back. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And for the rest of us, let's begin. Michael Golden, I know your favorite artist has
I was going to say, let Brandy take this one.
I was like, this is more in my neighborhood.
Well, Brandy, that was a perfect segue for you to grab a hold. What's the first story we got today?
So the Bad Bunny effect, like I think last year we saw, the Taylor Swift effect, which as a operator in New Orleans, we saw this heavily. But just the power of some of these big artists when they announce their tours is really incredible, and people really going out of their way just to go to these tours. And so Bad Bunny obviously is like one of the most popular artists right now, and he's kind of using that popularity to bolster his, hometown. He's a hometown hero. And so in the summer in Puerto Rico, much like it is in Miami and in Alabama, it's pretty gross. It's pretty rainy. It's not the high tourist season. And so he has this 30 show residency in Puerto Rico over the summer, and it's just having an enormous impact on the island. There's like over 40% increases in bookings. You're just seeing like everything, all of the short-term rentals, all of the hotels are booked. And it's especially, in a time when like it's pretty dead. So the economic impact of this is like really incredible. So and people are coming from all over the world to go to Puerto Rico in the summer. So it's fun. And also I'm sure his shows are so fun when they're in Miami, like the second they're announced, they're like all sold out. So I have yet to see.
Well, I was gonna say, what was the total economic impact that they were expecting for Puerto Rico to gain from this Bad Bunny effect?
Oh my gosh, you're calling me out on a number that I have lost. But they're seeing the hotel occupancy is 67% higher for these months, which is crazy. And so you just see like across the board, this isn't just in the hotels that you're seeing these like high ADRs. And you have like obviously all the bars, the restaurants, the grocery stores, the tours, like other parts of the island. Maybe people are tacking on, other trips or extending their trip around Puerto Rico. So it'll be interesting to see in the aftermath what like the total actual impact was.
Yeah, as I'm reading the article, it's kind of crazy to see it's a residency for 30-night concert series in the San Juans, but it goes from July 11th to September 14th, and it's 30 nights, which is a lot. Like that's a huge one, just amount of work. I can't imagine being on the Bad Bunny team or even being Bad Bunny performing 30 nights. That's kind of crazy, just like Taylor Swift when she was performing like crazy amount of shows throughout her whole concert. But I believe when I was reading, there was an expected economic impact of 180 million into Puerto Rico from tourism, obviously being travel, hotels, food, all the fun stuff. But yeah, kind of crazy, kind of a crazy tour.
How to cement yourself as a legend like forever in Puerto Rico.
Sure.
If you're from one of these small towns or these, countries that aren't, America, Germany, UK, whatever, that's like a huge opportunity to create this impact. So I may know a song of Bad Bunny's or two. I probably don't. I couldn't name one. I'm sure I recognize one, but like mad kudos to him. And that's fantastic. Like I love seeing bringing it back to the hometown and letting the locals really benefit from your stardom. And
well, I mean, because he easily could have done this in Vegas,
Yeah, talk about knowing your audience and knowing your guests, right? Like I think he decided, look, Puerto Rico is where it's at, not only because of the kind of nostalgic piece of hometown hero type vibes, but also just because, look, that's where he knew, I'm sure, and his team knew that's where they're going to have the most impact with that audience that is going to just eat it up, right? So more of a fan experience than just a economic or business decision, I would assume, but it's pretty awesome.
Two more things. Kudos to Jamie Lane for, looks like a lot of that data came from him. And then Brandy, you said that people are coming from all over the world. Those poor people from Sweden gonna melt, absolutely melt in Puerto Rico in the summer. Like they have no clue what's about to hit them. When I played volleyball in Italy, it was really, really hot in the summertime. And we had a Swedish guy on the team, and he like passed out so quick in the very first game. Like it was hilarious. But imagine a giant party in Puerto Rico. So good luck.
Yeah, hopefully those ACs, they have the electrical grid shored up, that the hotels have their backup generators, because those ACs will be pumping.
Yeah.
And you know where AC is not pumping? The great
Where, Michael?
outdoors.
I love
So
it. Segues.
Segue King.
I love segues. So Marriott this week has filed for a new brand called the Outdoor Collection. We covered Trailborne and postcard cabins being added by Marriott a number of months ago, but this kind of signals to me a much larger commitment to the outdoors. And in the filing, Skift covers that they're not just covering words like hotels, but they're covering words like glamping and vacation rental cabins. So they're kind of covering the gambit here. And this is on the backs of Hilton adding auto camp, Hyatt adding under canvas, Starwood Capital and AJ Capital JVing on Field and Stream Lodge. So there's a lot of activity in the outdoor space. Does it fall in short-term rentals? Does it fall in hotels? It falls in both. It's its own kind of category, but it's also definitely the hottest segment in terms of what people are talking about in the space. So I love it, and I expect Marriott to continue to be on a shopping spree.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you guys think? We're going to see some announcements here soon. What predictions, maybe, Brandy?
Yeah, that's the secret. That's who's acquiring us. No, just kidding. I wish. that would be an incredible coup. Sonder wouldn't be too happy about that. But no, I think that this is just continuing. You're seeing these big, I think Marriott's really the leader right now of these big flags of doing the things that are new and exciting or adding the bigger. But I think you're going to just keep seeing all of the big brands continuing to like amass different parts of their portfolio. You know, they have the funds, they have the branding. So yeah, it'll be exciting. I still have yet to go to any of these glamping locations. Maybe this year is the year I change that.
Well, then say we got Steve Turk over
We'll have you
at
out
Ben
soon.
Wolf's.
You know somebody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, that too. We had Steve Turk over at Ben Wolf's property in Fredericksburg, or no, Wimberley, Texas last week. So maybe we get Brandy out into a nice little glamping resort. But I do want, since we are a live show, I want to just kind of throw this out to the live audience. If you're listening, if you're viewing, anything like that, what do you think about the outdoor sector? Are you thinking this is going to be as big of a segment as the hotel, short-term rental, airline sectors, or are you thinking Marriott's just being cautious around what they want to have just in case for some future stuff? But we'd love to know your thoughts there. But yeah, I love the outdoor sector, and I think this is going to be great for what they've done, Brandy, to your comments, to what they've done with the acquisitions already. So hopefully they have more and they truly build out a bigger collection. I think that's the goal, right? Hopefully one day. Right, Michael? Just build out some big collections.
I can almost guarantee you, if they're not going to go through the effort of rebranding or creating a brand within the brands that already exist to shelf it or to stop at the two that they have. So they're going to continue to shop. The thing is, there's just not that many opportunities out there yet. So stay tuned. Things are in the works, but
yeah,
more to come in a few months, hopefully.
Yet. Yeah, lovely. All right, next topic, I guess. We moving on? Any other comments, questions?
It's actually, I think our next topic is something that every single operator deals with every time there's a checkout. So, and that is trash and leftover food and food waste. And I think this was circulating on LinkedIn a little bit over the weekend. And it's interesting because if you have a big group of people and you do all of your grocery shopping and then you leave, what happens to all of that food you didn't use? And in the early days of Sextant / Romy, this is how I stocked my bar for several years and didn't pay for things, because everybody comes to Miami, they buy more than they can drink. And the Hendrix always came to me. But the bigger issue is what is this? Is a really, this article from The Hill was mentioning that it's like more waste than if you were going out to dinner, which I don't buy that like at all. I mean, especially if you're with a big group, like even if you leave some food in the home, like that's still cheaper than if you took all 10 members of your family out to dinner, you know? So I still think, I mean, it's obviously a huge amount of waste, but it's for the traveler, it's still cheaper to buy and waste some groceries than it would be to take the whole squad out for every meal.
Yeah, whoever thinks it's cheaper to dine out than it is to dine in is crazy.
They're crazy. Yeah. And the article covers an estimated $2.5 or $2.3 billion of food wasted within short-term rental lodging each year. And that pegs it at about an average of $12 of uneaten groceries, takeout, or leftovers that end up having to be trashed. And that was published by Waste Management. What's interesting to me, we talked about this pre-show, like, oh, this is kind of a weird article, but I think it's a fun topic because we all see it. We've all seen it over and over and over again. You see it almost every checkout. There's stuff that's unopened. And what do you do with it? It either gets thrown away or it goes home with the cleaners today. And great, if the cleaners want to take it, let them have it. If not, maybe we as an industry should figure out a solution for this, put a little laundry basket in the pantry and say, unopened leftovers, and collect those and take donations to the local food bank. So I'd be very curious to know if anyone is doing something like that today, particularly on the large houses with multi-families coming in at a stay. That's when a ton of groceries come in. Probably less so, Brandy, for 1-bedroom Miami apartments, but any fly-to markets, I would imagine. Yeah, true. Any fly-to markets, people aren't going to stock their car back up and drive home. They're not going to do that with their suitcases and going through the airports. So I think I'm fascinated to know what people do with it, if it just goes home with cleaners or if there's a greater good that our industry can get behind and not have it end up in waste management's piles.
Yeah, the one thing that sucks, and I can see being an issue, because I think there is a huge opportunity for what you're saying, Michael, with the industry being able to come up with a solution that can limit the waste that we're actually contributing to. And the one thing that sucks is I think with this type of issue is that with the amount of hands that this food is exchanging is where it gets a little sketchy, because you have from the guest who bought it to the amount of people at their party to the cleaners to then a potential supervisor or manager, which then gives it to then the owner or the GM, and then the food bank comes in and blah 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 blah. So I think the amount of exchange hands can be the issue, or at least I could see being the area where maybe food banks or some other charities aren't willing to accept the food. But I would hope that there would be some kind of workaround, because there is such a waste. Not as much as going out, or yes, more of a waste doing this than going out to restaurants, as what Brandy was saying. But yeah, I just think the hand piece, the exchanging of hands, is where it gets a little sketchy in my head.
But a really interesting area of opportunity. I mean, especially if you're a company that has maybe like the infrastructure to put together, like you can develop those relationships with your local food bank and figure out a way, like, how do we make this possible? We have like X amount of stuff. And I think the problem that is, I don't really know how you would combat this, but there's so much stuff that is opened and then only used partially, and that you just have to toss. Like you don't know where it's been or what's going on. But that's the part that's kind of frustrating. Like someone had a loaf of bread, had like one slice, and like a jar of peanut butter had like one swipe of peanut butter on there, and then that's left. But I mean, totally understand why travelers do that, because I think you always are more optimistic about what you're going to do beforehand. And then as the trip goes on, you're like, oh, we'll just order it, or we'll just go out. I don't want to cook. Or you're sleeping through breakfast or something like that. So
it's a huge waste, but on the flip side, it's a great boon for the local economy. So you've got local restaurants and local grocery stores that are benefiting. So if you want to look at the bright side, there you have it. The bad side is it's just so much billions of dollars of wasted food is maddening.
Well, and I was thinking
a
about this
problem.
other aspect of it. Like, okay, so when we go, my family does a big ski trip every year. We'll go and buy all the things, but we usually have to buy spices and things like that you would use. And you're not going to go through all of those spices or olive oil or whatever. And then as an operator, we don't keep those things. If a guest leaves that stuff, I know some people leave it, but we don't, because it doesn't fit a standard, and you don't know where it's all that kind of stuff. So that just gets tossed. And so it's that's something I don't really have like a solution to, but it's like these little things that you might use every day while you're there, but you just you can't buy like a teeny like travel size thing of oregano.
Yeah, that's a really hard part, is because all the things that you want to be able to keep and just leave around for the guests to use, they probably can't, because who knows what people do to it during their stay. So
You should.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone has a good solution that they use in their practice, like in their company, definitely let us know, because I didn't really have a good solution to this besides the food bank.
I pinged Jonathan Wicks saying, hey, any thoughts on this for Well and Good, as you guys probably see this issue 1,000 times a day. So Jonathan, shout out to you. Hopefully you got my text.
Yeah. I love that. We should create a standard. There we go. We just solved step one.
We just
GMH
figure out what to do. Cool. Well, last quick topic to touch on before we wrap today. The Robb Report put out an article at the beginning of the month that leisure travel market is set to triple from 5 trillion to 15 trillion by 2040. So triple in about 15 years. That's all leisure. The majority of it's coming from emerging markets, and the majority of that is going to stay for domestic travels. But tangentially, the rest of it is going to be net benefit to regional or multinational travel. And, obviously that's a great thing for everyone in the travel space. We're not a declining industry, we're an inclining industry. And I think the more you can figure out exactly who your demographic is, whether it is drive to local, regional, or if you're a heavy international market, what you can do within your properties to attract and appeal those travelers that are coming to your markets. So the travelers that go to San Francisco are probably a little bit different than that go to Miami, but figure out what fits within your segment. And all in all, I love seeing positive trends for the industry, because we've had a lot of negative ones for a while.
What about that booking window? But I thought something also that was interesting is we're seeing these other countries that are, their middle class, upper middle class is expanding, and now they have the money and they want to spend it on leisure travel. And I think a couple of months ago, we touched on this article about how, especially in Southeast Asian countries where there's like this ingrained hospitality just in the culture, and how that is really reflected in their luxury product, like in their hotels and things like that. So now on a global scale, all of the kind of higher tier product has you're competing against even more regions, even more people to get this enormous amount of money that is now getting ready to be spent. And so I think it's going to push, especially at the higher end, to keep getting more and more luxurious or tailored, because you have to keep standing out against even more. It's not everybody going to a Four Seasons in, I don't know, in the Caribbean or where Mexico, there might be someplace in Indonesia or Malaysia that you are now also competing with. So I think it'll keep pushing the industry higher. It'll be interesting to see what happens to the middle of the non-luxury, but for the luxury end, I think it's going to get really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what new brands pop out from this with any type of growth in travel or tourism. I think you're going to see a huge influx of cool startups from the tech side, but also I think the excitement for me is to see the new names and faces that pop in from the brands side of becoming an operator, creating a brand, creating something bigger than just a local market type of operator maybe, or an Airbnb host. So that'll be very exciting as well. But speaking of excitement, as we wrap up the episode, I just want to say a big thank you and shout out to our friends at Guesty, because if you haven't heard the last couple of episodes, we are officially the official. Yes, we are. We're officially the official podcast partner with Guestyval, which is Guesty's conference. You don't have to be a user to attend Guestyval. It is for the industry, and it's going to be in Mexico City this September. And so if you grab the link in the show notes, or you just go to guestyvalval.com, you can sign up and get your ticket there. And of course, see us on stage, see us breaking stories, and of course, grabbing fun and exciting interviews throughout the conference. But yeah, that is basically it on today's episode. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to All Things Good Morning Hospitality on your favorite channel. And for you two, anything else? Anything exciting coming up? Same old, same old. Where are we at, Michael? Come on
It's
now.
going to be an exciting week. Look, lots of moving parts going on in all of our worlds. So the future is bright.
The future is
Yes,
bright. Brandy,
that's
how
a
about you?
positive outlook. I'm actually going to Boston this weekend to see some friends and get out of this soup that is Miami. So I'm excited for that. Get some like cool northeastern ocean air. It'll be nice.
Yeah, I love that. Love that for you. A little jelly. It's a beautiful week here in Colorado. So just, same old for me over here. So nothing too crazy.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Outside of that, thank you guys so much. It's good to see you two again. And for our live viewers, our live listeners, and anyone tuning into the podcast after the live is done, thank you for tuning in. And of course, we will see you guys all again next week.